Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Dem Pulse, where we cut through the noise to bring you the human stories behind the headlines. Today, we're diving into a heartbreaking development from the occupied West Bank: the deaths of two Palestinian teenagers at the hands of Israeli forces during overnight raids. These aren't just numbers on a screen. They're young lives cut short in a cycle of violence that's spiraling out of control. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our deep dives on global injustices. Let's get into it. Let's start with the facts. On December 1st and 2nd, 2025, Israeli military operations swept through cities like Hebron and Ramallah, targeting what the army describes as suspected terrorists. In Hebron, 17-year-old Muhammad al-Zughair was fatally shot after allegedly carrying out a car-ramming attack that lightly injured an Israeli soldier. Witnesses and Palestinian medics say he was pursued, wounded, and left to bleed out while Israeli forces blocked access to ambulances from the Palestinian Red Crescent. His body was then withheld by the military, a practice that's become all too common in these operations. In a separate incident near Ramallah, another Palestinian teen, whose identity hasn't been fully released by Palestinian health officials, was killed during a raid on a town, amid clashes that left several others wounded. The Israeli army claims these actions were in response to attacks that injured 3 Israelis, including stabbings and rammings. Hamas praised one of the incidents as a legitimate response to ongoing raids, but let's be clear: no one wins when children are caught in the crossfire. From the Israeli perspective, these raids are part of a broader counterterrorism effort that's ramped up since October 2023. The military says they're dismantling armed groups responsible for attacks on soldiers and settlers. And yes, Palestinian assailants have killed Israelis in recent weeks. It's a brutal tit-for-tat that's claimed lives on both sides. But here's where it gets infuriating. The United Nations reports over 1,000 Palestinians killed by Israeli forces and settlers in the West Bank since that date, including hundreds of children and teens. That's not security, that's occupation on steroids. The International Court of Justice ruled just last year that Israel's presence in the occupied territories is unlawful and must end. Israeli settlements? Illegal under international law. Yet, raids like these continue, displacing families, destroying homes, and turning everyday life into a nightmare for Palestinians living under military rule. Imagine this: Muhammad was 17, old enough to dream about his future, maybe university or a job to support his family. Instead, he's gunned down in the street, his body treated like a trophy. And he's not alone. Just last week in Jenin, videos surfaced of Israeli border guards shooting 2 Palestinians who had surrendered, hands up, shirts lifted to show they were unarmed. The Palestinian Authority called it a war crime, a brutal field execution. Even Israeli rights groups like B'Tselem are sounding the alarm, saying this is dehumanization in action. Friends, this isn't ancient history, it's happening right now, in 2025. The West Bank is a powder keg, with settler violence surging alongside these military ops. Kids aren't combatants, they're the first victims of this endless conflict. So, what can we do? First, educate yourself. Check the sources in the description below from Al Jazeera, Democracy Now!, Reuters, and more. Second, amplify these voices. Share this video, comment below with #Justice for West Bank, and tag your reps to demand an end to the raids and real accountability. Third, support orgs like the Palestinian Red Crescent or UNRWA. They're on the ground saving lives. Peace isn't a pipe dream, it's a demand. If we keep ignoring these stories, who will? Drop a like if this moved you, subscribe for more unfiltered truth, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay informed, stay compassionate. Shalom, salam, peace to all.